Hello everyone, I'm Faithless, and I'm making this video to kind of detail some thoughts and sort of ideas that I've been having. I was going to sort of add this as kind of an addendum to the script I'm writing for my big video, which to be honest has been taking me quite a while to write, and I'm almost done with the script, so then I need to kind of just like make the video and record everything. So this video here is going to be kind of unscripted, but I want to sort of develop more the point that I'm going to be using at the end of the video, which is sort of this kind of white pill that I hope to sort of impart to everyone as well as myself, because God knows I need it. Because at the end of the day, I've personally, maybe some people feel the same way, but I feel that when it comes to a lot of what's been going on with the world lately and with politics and with a lot of things that kind of cause like a lot of stress in our lives, that honestly a lot of the responses that I've given people and a lot of things that I've seen and a lot of ways I've reacted to certain things, I absolutely am aware is out of fear. And it's not so fear of the ideas themselves, but it's more fear of like what the future might be. It's like, will it be a future that includes me? You know, and I think that I, I'd like to think, I don't know for certain, that a lot of people feel this way in the fact that they feel uncertain of the future. They feel like, you know, like maybe some people might go as extreme as think that the end is nigh. I'm not at that level, but for many years I think I've had a somewhat rightward drift because I found that a lot of freedom of speech was being eroded, and in particular because of my condition being that I'm autistic, I saw that as almost an existential threat to my existence in a way. So I sort of started to kind of champion free speech very hard. And I still very much believe in free speech. I do believe that in order to have a civil society, we need to discuss ideas, especially if they're difficult and especially if they are, you know, hard to talk about, because otherwise these ideas, they either become extreme in vacuums or they just simply get pushed down and where nobody ever wants to talk to them, almost like boogeyman. And I feel that because free speech kept being eroded, that my condition being the fact that I'm autistic and I struggle to communicate with people, even though I can sound eloquent and I can sound quite sophisticated in the way I speak, that's not the same as communicating an idea to a person. Like I can, I mean, even this, like I'm concerned as like, you know, am I coming across the right way? Am do the thoughts and ideas I have in my head, are they actually coming through and people are understanding me? Um, it often feels like I'm speaking an alien language. So I started to kind of get concerned because I didn't really want to be essentially discriminated against because of my condition, because I might say something wrong or have said something wrong that I didn't necessarily mean. And I had this very sort of black pill sort of look at the world where it's like, you know, oh, I say one thing and my life's over. I'll be branded as like a heretic. I'll be branded as a criminal. I won't be able to live any sort of normal life. And to be fair, I haven't been able to live in, well, you know, like it's just, yeah. And I've come to realize more that it's become less, a lot of that is more hysterics on my part. Of course, there are the extremes, and there are extreme people out there, and of course they're championing those sorts of ideals, but they are far and few between, and that is genuine the reality. And I want to say this to tell people is that it's not as bad as it may sound. Like there are a lot of, and I'm going to talk more about this in my bigger video, so don't worry. But I feel that all of us as a species, almost, especially here in the West, but I feel like maybe even in other parts of the world as well, we've all had this sort of collective panic attack where everything's kind of been made uncertain, and we have no idea like what's going to happen tomorrow. And I think that the markets and economic change is a good reflection of that, because I feel oftentimes when people feel uncertain, there's you typically this follows like kind of a drop in sort of economic outcomes where stocks start to lose money. And I've been looking at the exchange rate between pounds and dollars, US dollars, and being concerned, particularly when I actually have an artist friend who I've paid to commission art, and I wanted to make sure like he got paid, whereas and I'm not exactly made of money, so I wanted to make sure he was paid and I was giving him his due diligence. So I feel what I want to say to everyone who may listen to this video, because I know this is a little bit rambly, is that don't try to simply just fix the world, because the truth is you can't. That's an insurmountable task. There is so many conflicting and complicated and even factors that are beyond our control and beyond our knowledge at play, that it's almost impossible to really comprehend or grasp. And I feel that because we've have so much accessibility to technology now, we can know what's happening pretty much everywhere in the world and almost every time. That kind of makes a lot of people feel like this sort of cool for justice, or cool for arms to like affect change and to be positive. And that's a good thing. Like it's good that there are people that want to be humanitarian in that way, but it's ultimately a fruitless endeavor, because it doesn't really achieve the goals that you expect it to. If you want to do that sort of thing and you want to help people out, trust me when I say this, there are plenty of people who are in need within your local community and just within your local sphere. And like when I say need, I know that's a strong word, but it could simply just be like a friend who's just having a bad day, and simply cheering up that person does far more for the world than like than these grand sort of gestures, because life isn't about grand gestures. That's very much honestly a concept that's kind of given to us by movies and by TV and that sort of thing. So like give your friend a hug, ask them out for coffee, particularly if it's someone who you haven't spoken to for in a while. If it's someone you've fallen out with, try and bridge the gap. Try and see where they're coming from. um try and like learn a new skill. Like if you're feeling like for instance, for me, I've been depressed for a long time. So one of the things that have helped me out of my depression, which I'm kind of coming out of now, the beginning of this year, is I'm learning Spanish, and I love it, and I've been learning it every day. And I think I've been using Duolingo, and I'm on a 40-day streak or something. um and I can see my Spanish improving in real time, and it's really cool. Like I'm starting to like read comments in Spanish and read like sentences in Spanish, and I can understand it. So learning a skill like a language, or like something practical like carpentry or whatever, or like like computer programming, or just anything, because I mean we have the internet at our fingers, so really it's just the will and motivation to do it. You can learn. And try to sort of decrease like the amount that you take in when it comes to sort of global events. Now, of course, it's always good to be informed, but allowing it to bother you and allowing it to fester basically will just paralyze you from doing anything good, because you'll just be constantly worried. And I think that's something that I have, because I think that's sort of made me retreat into my shell. And perhaps you felt the same way as well, but of course, metaphorical you. I don't know you, unfortunately, but in any case, we can only do what we can, and there I absolutely do believe in, and in fact, I feel like there is evidence of this knock-on effect, where if you do good things and good deeds within your local community, that does spread. It does, and people's morale improve. People feel less hopeless, and if once people feel less hopeless, then will be less afraid and be more willing to face face the challenges of the future. Because to be honest, I still think we'll be around for many, 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 many years to come. Humans are unbelievably resilient. I mean, I I think there's one fairly derisive quote which I'm going to butcher, and I'm not sure who made it, but humans are effectively like cockroaches. We can survive almost anything and we can adapt to almost anything. I mean, that's why you have people living in I think the coldest place, the coldest settlement on Earth, which I think is minus 68 degrees Celsius, I believe. I could be wrong, but I know it's cold enough to where they can't have plumbing. Like the pipes just freeze. So if there are people that are able to live in like extreme climates such as these and able to have like a full life and a full, you know, a full life just within that sort of environment. I know I just repeated that twice. This is why unscripted is kind of bad. Then we are absolutely capable of seeing what we are absolutely capable of dealing with the future. And I know a lot of people will point to COVID and be like, well, look at the COVID response. And I think, again, that's again this sort of idea that we're all sort of afraid and we don't know what's going to happen next. Dune said it best when it said, fear is the mind killer. And we need our minds in perfect functioning sort of condition if we're to sort of navigate these uncertain waters. And eventually things will clear up. There will be a horizon, there will be a new dawn, there will be a new day that comes, and it may there may be certain things that are different, but change isn't always negative, and the things that you expect to change may not necessarily, or they may change for the better. That's the thing. And I feel that honestly, once you start to kind of look within yourself, look for ways to improve yourself, and look for ways to improve the environment around you, you'll start to realize that you're actually genuinely just happy, and you no longer start worrying about this because you just keep not you just keep on keeping on, and you just keep pushing through. So yeah. With that being said, I have been Faithless. If you enjoy these videos, I do have a PayPal. Feel free to tip me if you like. Just don't go beyond your means, of course. And I will try and get this like big sort of political video out by hopefully next week. I'm gonna work on the script this weekend, although I do have some like family arrangements and stuff. So, anyways, peace out, guys. Hope you have a good one.